Hey, so I'm dropping a two-part series debunking the urban legend, the myth, the lie that the parties switched. I'm sure you all have heard before that the two political parties switched. Now, this lie is being mostly repeated by black Democrats content on staying on the Democrat plantation. You'll hear them say over and over, oh, the Democrats used to be racist, but they switched. The parties switched. So now Democrats aren't racist anymore. It's the Republicans. That's a lie, and we're going to break it down. You see, Democrats have always been the party of hate, oppression, and white supremacy. They're just using different tactics now. In the beginning, they were the party of slavery. They fought the Civil War to keep black people enslaved as their property. And when they lost to Republicans, then they started the Jim Crow South era and the segregation. And they brought domestic terrorism to black people in the form of KKK, right? But then that wasn't working too much because they couldn't be so brutal and overt with their hate, bigotry, and racism. So then they had Lyndon B. Johnson deliver a smooth as butter delivery to trick black people into voting for Democrats for the next 50 years. And it worked. He gave them free handouts, made them government slaves, dependent on the government for everything they needed for their livelihood. But that wasn't enough either. They incentivized breaking up the family, removing black men from the homes. They incentivized that with black women via welfare. Fast forward today, they just switched up the tactics. You see, Democrats are using symbolisms because they know the emotional fragility of a lot of black people when it comes to racism and the perceived representation that we don't have. So what do? They play on the emotional heartstrings and they give you meaningless symbols of tokens, right? Like Barack Obama, right? They said that he's the first black president. So they can say Democrats gave you the first black president when point in fact he did absolutely nothing for black people. He was the first gay president. Then they can say, look, it was us who gave you the first black female vice president. And that's another thing they did. They gave us the second wave of KKK. That's Kamala, Corinne Jean-Pierre, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. So let's talk about it. Kamala Harris, the Indian white Irish woman cosplaying as a black woman. They can say, look, we are the ones who gave you the first black female vice president, even though she spent a career in California preying on black men and locking up black families. Then we got Corinne Jean-Pierre, right? She's the first lesbian, non-binary, bisexual woman to be the press secretary, even though she was a stupid, lying clown who lied repeatedly every day. But Democrats will say, we're the ones who gave you the first black female press secretary. And then you got Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first black woman on the Supreme Court, even though she's stupid and a pedo protector and couldn't even define the word woman. But Democrats will say, we're the ones who gave you the first black Supreme Court female justice, even though none of that means anything, just like the Juneteenth. Now, not to knock the significance of Juneteenth, but it's a useless token that doesn't mean anything. And Jim Crow Joe Biden made it a federal holiday and got black people hooping and hollering, and that's going to secure the vote for another 50 years. When are we going to wake up?